This land isn't just in your blood. It's under your fingernails and worn with pride. It's not a job. It's your livelihood. Here, overtime is all the time. But you wouldn't have it any other way. It's written into your DNA. It's what you thrive on. And while farming will never be easy, we can make it better. Introducing the Pioneer 100 series. Meaningfully different canola hybrids.
It's time for RealAg Radio on Rural Radio Channel 147 on Sirius XM. RealAg Radio and RealAgriculture.com is your home for insight and analysis of the issues that are impacting your farm business. Let's get real and get connected with RealAg Radio. Welcome to RealAg Radio here on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM. Shaun Haney, your host here on this Thursday edition of the show. Hey, thanks so much, everybody, for making RealAg Radio and Rural Radio 147 a big part of your workday. And today, it's Farmer Rapid Fire, because it's Thursday, because that's what we do around these parts. And we're going to travel across the country and find out how farmers are making out in their fields, their barn, their pastures, whatever they're doing. We're going to get an update on how they are making out. Of course, the Farmer Rapid Fire is brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. Let's talk about Pioneer 100 Series. Pioneer celebrating its 100th anniversary, and Pioneer 100 Series canola is something that you got to think about for the 2026 season. Here's the best part. This is the highest yielding Pioneer brand canola hybrids ever. This isn't just about better canola. It is different canola, everybody. Contact your local Pioneer sales representative or visit pioneer.com/100 series to learn more. Again, that's pioneer.com/100 series to learn more. Okay, today on the show, we've got a great lineup of guests. We've got a great list of farmers. They are standing by, ready to go. We got Luke Barron coming out of Schomberg, Ontario. We got Ryan McCarron, who's in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Jake Leguee is in Fillmore, Saskatchewan. And Sukpahl Bal is out in Kelowna, BC. So a great, diverse group, farming and raising a lot of different commodities. And we're going to find out how they're making out here as we get to the kind of the midpoint of November. Our Pioneer Seeds agronomist today is Derwyn Hammond. We've talked to him many times here on Real Agriculture. He's based out of Manitoba, so we'll get to him at the back end of the show and find out what's on his mind and what he's talking to growers about and customers and all those kinds of things. Now, if you have any feedback, keep it coming. We've had a tremendous amount of feedback the past 2 weeks. I really appreciate it. This audience is super engaged. Keep it up. Let's keep the momentum going, okay? What we're going to do is you're going to send me an email, shaney@realagriculture.com, or you're going to call or text the RealAg feedback line, 855-776-6147. You do not have to wait or be like, you don't have to wait for me to say, hey, do you want to be on the Farmer Rapid Fire? You could say, hey, I'd like to be on the Farmer Rapid Fire. That's something you could text me or email, or you could provide us with an update on how you're making on your farm. What are you up to? What are you doing? What's some of your concerns? What are you positive about? What are you're kind of keeping you up at night about? There's lots of things that are going on as we get to the back end here of the year and we flip into what we'll be talking. It's hard to believe we're talking about 2026. Just get your head wrapped around that, everybody. So email again, shaney@realagriculture.com. Let's start off this week's Farmer Rapid Fire brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada by starting at Schomberg, Ontario. We're talking to Luke Barron. Luke, how are we doing?
I'm good.
That's good. Okay, so what's going on this week on the farm?
Oh, we actually got a whole pile of snow here on the weekend, and we're just waiting for it to melt. It was our first snowfall of the year, so we got about a foot of snow for the first time.
Yeah, and you still got corn out in the field, I'm sure?
Yeah, still working at corn, yeah.
Yeah. Any concerns about the standability, or is it the stock still looking pretty strong?
No, I think we're still good for a while. Still lots of time left where you have to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, when the first snowfall comes, it's always like it's like you know what's coming, but you're not quite ready for it. It always does catch you a little bit sort of like, man, but it's here. And I've seen a few Instagram pictures from farmers in your area, and a pretty healthy amount of snow.
Yeah, that's for a first snow to get a foot is a pretty good dump for us. Usually the first couple times it snows here, it just melts away like instantly, but it's going on a four or 5 days now. We've had it on the ground, so it's a bit of a surprise.
What's the forecast say in front of you? Do you think you'll be back in the field anytime soon?
I don't think so. It looks like it's going to warm up, and then all the snow's going to melt, and they're calling for rain at the end of the week here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's not. It's going to be a while before we get back doing anything, I think.
Yeah, you almost want it to get kind of cold, right, so that you can run over top of that snow with the combine.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that we'll be driving trucks into the field anymore until it does freeze, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what does happen.
Yeah,
you can't change it.
For the corn you have taken off, or even as you look out in the standing corn, what are your thoughts on yield?
Ours is excellent. I am very happy with it. And our beans were a good crop too. And we were just lucky enough here. I know north of us and seemed like east and west of us, if you went a little too far, they were starving for water all summer. And we just got lucky enough that we had enough rains to keep everything healthy. And yeah, we have a really good crops here.
Okay, well that's encouraging. That's encouraging. Now we're getting to the back end here of the year, and I know that you haven't got all your crop off yet, so it's hard to think about 2026. But how's planning coming for 2026?
Well, at least the commodities are up a bit, I guess.
Yeah,
corn sure come up the last 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, and I guess I panicked a little early and I should have kept some beans because they're gone up too, but you just never know what the market's going to do.
Yeah. Did you sell? Do you normally sell your beans right off the combine, or was this year kind of more you went that direction just because of what the market was saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I usually keep some, and then I don't know. I just didn't see the price of beans going up since basically last fall, and then I said, "Oh, I won't bother trying to keep these any longer." And then next thing you know, that was a bad idea. So, yeah.
You know, man, you just can't win for trying. I think there's a lot of people out there, like, if you want to know what to do, just do the opposite of me. I think we've all been there, and we feel that way, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, I didn't feel too bad with like I said, we had a good crop, so
yeah,
can't win on every level, I guess, but yeah.
Do you see your corn versus soybean mix changing at all next year in terms of the ratio one to the other?
No, I don't think so. I think we usually have just a rotation that we like to stick to, and we don't get too carried away to flip flop, and usually it seems to work out pretty good. So
yeah.
Yeah, we just stick with the plan.
do you have wheat too?
Not too often, but maybe every third or fourth year we will grow it. But
okay,
we actually grew some wheat this year, and so this was our wheat year here.
Okay, yeah. Is it something that it depends on what triggers that decision whether or not you grow wheat?
Like, to be honest, I had that wheat contracted for pretty good money from it was a couple of years out anyway that I saw the price was good, and I kind of booked some, and then that kind of forced me to. And we have cattle here too, so straw is nice, but I'd say 90% of the time we just buy our straw in. But
one of the things we've been chatting with growers about, or trying to get kind of an indication on the direction is farm investments over the winter here. Are you doing any planned upgrades, whether it's in the yard or equipment or anything like that?
No, I don't think we're going to do any big investments here. We've actually did a couple over the last few years, so this is our farm not invest year, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were maybe investing too much. But
what did you? Well,
you know.
It's all relative. What did you do?
Oh, we just poured a concrete pad in front of our little shop area here, and we had to upgrade a tractor and had to do some work to a wall in the one barn and just stuff like that. You know, try to keep everything in decent enough shape.
Yeah. It's and everybody has a different situation, because we've heard from a lot of people in southwestern Ontario and eastern Ontario about some of the concerns about some of the drought areas, right? But it sounds like you're kind of in a spot where it's worked out okay. The crops have been not too bad.
Yeah, like I said, even talking to our agronomist and whatever, and kind of sharing our yield information with him, and we did a test. We always do a test plot here for them, and yeah, they were saying that was one of the better test plots that they've done in the area, and stuff. So, and they said the corridor right here, we're like right along Highway 9 in Schomberg from Orangeville to Newmarket. They said that was some of the best crops that they had seen. So yeah, I guess we just got lucky.
Have you been working with the same agronomist for a while?
Oh yeah, quite a while. Yeah.
So, and everybody does that differently. Sometimes just, hey, scout a few fields, scout all my fields, provide recommendations. How deeply entrenched is your relationship with your agronomist in terms of how you use that person?
Yeah, pretty good. He's I think it's got to be close to 10 years that he's been working there now, and we do grid soil samples and pick your seed varieties and all that kind of stuff with them, and yeah, they scout the fields and everything, and it works out good for us, I think.
Yep, helps out with some of the fertility planning and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Are you do you for fertility, do you liquid or dry?
Dry. Yeah, dry. We did liquid for a few years, and then actually the agronomist and my sister's actually an agronomist, but she's not my agronomist, and they said, the dry would be better, and it seems to be working. So
cool.
Yeah. But
awesome.
I know everyone has a different things and what kind of planter you have and everything, but it's based on what you do and your equipment you got and all those kinds of things, right? That it's great to have options. It's not a situation where, if you go this way, you're better than the other. It's a case of everyone's got to go with the best fit for them, and that's it. Like I said, it's great that there's options to choose from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Luke, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Farmer Rapid Fire. Really appreciate it, and hopefully the weather cooperates here to deal with that foot of snow that you got.
Yeah, thank you.
Great stuff. That is Luke Barron of Schomberg, Ontario. We got more coming up here on the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. Back right after this.
Joining me now, Clint Yerke, Regional Technical Services Manager with BASF. Today's topic is clubroot. Using these resistant hybrids, how can we keep them effective as long as possible?
Anything that we can do to reduce the spore load, so resistance, rotations, patch management, that's going to be a great tool when the disease is already established in your field. But you also want to prevent it from arriving in the field, and so that's where sanitation and minimum till, zero till operations are essential for managing the disease. We have 12 or so different hybrids that are available that range in different types of maturity, different disease like packages, but they all do possess great pod shatter, pod drop resistance, lodging, harvestability, ease. and couple that with high-end yields. So you get that full package of those InVigor genetics that's going to give you a much better opportunity for improved profitability at the end of the season.
Do you want to find out more about the InVigor hybrid canola lineup? Go to invigorresults.ca. I get to spend every day talking to farmers in the ag industry through RealAgriculture.com and RealAg Radio. But nothing is more fun than speaking to an audience live and in person. If you're planning an ag event, book a Real Agriculture speaker to make it a successful and memorable experience. Email shaney@realagriculture.com and you can book myself or any other Real Ag personality to speak at your event. Bring your audience all the fun, insight, and energy of Real Agriculture. Okay, let's continue the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. We started in Ontario. Let's go further east. Let's go to Nova Scotia. And we're talking to Ryan McCarron, who is in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Hey, Ryan, how we doing?
Not too bad, Shaun. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. We're midpoint in November, which is incredibly hard to believe. Are you seeing signs of winter yet?
No, we're getting a lot of rain now, finally. It's been pretty dry, but no snow. And a couple cold days, but it's been kind of oddly warm. Like yesterday was 18 degrees, so yeah. And then today it's 0, so it's all over the place, up and down.
Kind of sounds like where I am in southern Alberta. Okay,
yeah.
How were the crops this year?
Like for us personally, they weren't bad considering how dry it was. Like we seemed to get some timely rains when we needed it. Our barley did pretty good. And our corn, like it was shorter. There's definitely a little bit of yield off of it, but not like what you expect. Like it was pretty uniform. The population was good, even though it was shorter. Like silage yield still came off good. It was a thick crop. So no, it was surprisingly not bad for us personally. There's other guys in the area like we that probably are definitely short of feed and trying to find ways or extra feed to feed their cattle or selling calves early, but for us personally, it's been an okay year.
Yeah. You still have corn out there?
About 100 acres that we just have for dry corn. We got to hit a wet spell. Nothing that's really concerning. It just hasn't stopped raining long enough to kind of get into it.
Okay. So you said it's been dry through the growing season. It's been a little bit wet this fall. So is that what we're cheering for right now? Is a whole bunch of moisture here this fall before freeze up?
On the East Coast, me personally, after so many years where we've had it's usually always too much water, so I never really get cheer for that. Like maybe for people that have wells. Me personally, I'm like, well, it's too late to really do anything good crop wise with us. And usually through the winter and spring, we always get rain. We're like stuck out on a peninsula on the Atlantic Ocean, so rain will come compared to like being inland, where it can kind of be like a more setup of a longer term pattern. For us, it's just kind of it's an odd year more than it is like a normal or signs to come, from my perspective anyways.
Yeah, I always find whenever I talk to farmers here on the Farmer Rapid Fire from Atlantic Canada, the Maritimes, I always find it always feels like it's feast or famine. It's either like so wet, don't know what we're going to do, or like it just feels so dry. I don't know. It's just maybe that's my confirmation bias. It just feels like it's all over the place.
Well, I mean, compared to a couple of years ago when we got a hit from the hurricane, I'm happy with this year. I can't complain. You got to start finding some good positive years. Like, not every year is going to be like a banger year. So if you have a year that, it was a bit dry and there was challenges, but there were more manageable challenges.
Yeah.
Not like a storm hits you and wipes out the crop and you got to kind of just deal with the pieces. So I'd rather that challenge of being a little bit on the drier side than having like rain where you like, the quality of the crop was good. We didn't have any like toxin issues. Like when it just rains and rains and rains and you can't even get out to put fungicide on, you just kind of watch a good crop slowly deteriorate. That's almost worse than like a storm or a dry year where you can still go out and get something.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's me anyways. I'm sure that opinion differs very. Like if you had calves and you're just nothing but like cow-calf and you got cows out on pasture, you probably just want it to be a monsoon all year. So it's very much in the eye, and we're a mix of both. So it's very much on a case-by-case basis.
So when you look at the year ahead, 2026, what would be the concerns? What if I were to say, hey, what's your list of a couple concerns that you have heading into 26? What would they be?
Well, I don't know. It's not called the carbon tax, but it's something got snuck back in there. I know diesel kind of started jumping up again, so that'd probably be one of my concerns because that kind of has a knock-on, roll-down effect of everything else. Like if diesel goes up, the cost to get your parts, even though we're exempt on the farm fuel for diesel, like the cost of everything down the value chain gets increased because transportation costs go up. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on that one because that just kind of creates inflation across the entire straight of the economy. And then like a lot of the other stuff, I mean, a lot of it, we sell a lot of our stuff direct, like pretty much all of our beef goes direct to market. So as far as like commodity issues now, I'm kind of removing ourselves out of that. And the growth that we have in that market kind of keeps growing year on year. So as far as price outlook, I kind of have control over that. And then the rest of it is just kind of the expense side.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But I have
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Now I have a little bit more of like a chance. Like when I see prices go up, we can kind of still keep increasing our prices in relative to the consumer that they'll take it. Luckily, that beef prices are so high at the grocery store now, like it's buying local and buying retail, there's really not much of a difference.
Yeah.
So it gives us a chance to get market share.
What would be the things that you're optimistic about?
Well, I'm optimistic about our sales. Like we've had tremendous growth year on year. So it's kind of given us all the signs to kind of keep increasing that. And we're working through an expansion now, trying to get more to buy in more feeders to kind of keep that market growing and kind of try to stay ahead of it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to kind of keep growing this market that we've got and kind of keep growing this business. The cattle side of it, like the cattle has been a real positive across the board for the most part. And then even this local stuff is in just a plus on top of that.
Yeah, that's very true. The beef sector is definitely one of the bright lights when it comes to agricultural profitability for sure. And I can't remember. Are you you're direct to market? Are you selling directly into restaurants or grocery stores? I can't remember what you're doing.
We sell pretty much. We kind of use like an Amazon model where people will put orders in, and it's been growing. Like we have a freezer trailer. We'll do deliveries to like down to Cape Breton, to Sydney, then into Halifax. And then it's around our local town. Like we're outside of a town that's got like 6,000 plus people, plus a university. So we supply a few restaurants in town and then a couple other small stores like around that have convenience stores that we want to stock in. And it's just kind of like we're hired to keep beef in stock week to week basis. So it's good, but it's, there's more opportunity for us to expand into some other restaurants, but we just don't have enough cattle to keep meeting their certain demand for steaks and what they need on a week to week basis. So, well, it's all new challenges, but they're like good problems to have. Like they're the kind of problems you kind of want to be solving versus like, bad crops or, the normal farming challenges. These are good problems because they're kind of in your control if you can increase your capacity.
And Halifax, like, obviously the major center in Nova Scotia is Halifax, and it's growing like crazy. So there's going to be just more demand going forward, I think.
Yeah. And it was a slow compared to Sydney, which is a smaller city, and there wasn't really as much competition down there. Like Halifax, you have a lot of people from the Valley, Truro, in around the farming towns and communities. But like we have a core group of people that started buying from us up there, and then it just kind of word of mouth. It just kind of keeps building up. And the more convenience we can add on like getting the product to them, because that's kind of how everyone is these days. Like they just want something they don't want to go to the store. If you can get it to them, like farm, like they want to go to the farmer's market, but they don't really want to go to the market. So we kind of just try to cut all that business out and just kind of get right to them, which is what they're kind of used to with Amazon and everything else. So.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Any other big plans for the winter?
Try to get away if we can. We try to get down to Texas. We have horses and we kind of bring up some clinicians. So we try to get down and visit them and kind of plan whenever they're going to come up to Nova Scotia for next year and host some clinics. And then that's kind of what our plan is. I think my wife she's going to take a reproduction course down there as well. So that'd be kind of one of our big plans for the winter time.
Cool.
In January. Get away for a week or two.
Really fun. Fun. Whereabouts in Texas?
Just outside. It's not Weatherford. It's on the east side of Dallas.
Okay, cool.
And I can't remember the name of the town that they live in. And then her course for doing ultrasound and embryo transfers, that's down like just north of Houston.
Nice. Well, It'd be a good way to escape some of the winter weather indeed, and do some learning while you're there. It's like a win-win.
Hopefully.
It's a win-win.
Sometimes it gets a blizzard down there.
I know it can be a little bit like that. That is absolutely for sure, but probably a little bit less snow than what you're used to. So
no,
that's a bonus.
100%.
Yeah,
it'll be dry, it won't be damp. So that'll be the nice part.
Very true. Very true. Hey Ryan, thanks so much for joining us here today in the Farmer Rapid Fire, and all the best to you.
Thanks for having me, Shaun.
That is Ryan McCarron. He's at Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Great stuff. Lots of fun. Okay, we got more coming up here on the Farmer Rapid Fire. We're going to go to Saskatchewan next, right after this.
Getting your pulses off to a strong start just got easier. Tag Team Bionic from FMC is the all-in-one granular inoculant that's simple to handle and easy to apply at seeding. With improved flow and less dust, it runs clean through your equipment and delivers consistent results in the field. Powered by 4 biological actives plus LCO promoter technology, it kickstarts nodulation and nutrient uptake, even in cool soils. Ask your retailer about Tag Team Bionic today.
RealAg Radio is Canada's only daily radio show focused on agriculture. Get expert advice on Agronomic Monday. Tuesdays and Wednesdays will cover a broad range of issues. Thursday we'll hear from farmers across the country on the Farmer Rapid Fire. And we'll wrap things up Fridays with the RealAg Issues panel with Kelvin Hefner and Lindsay Smith. Join us Monday through Friday at 4:30 Eastern. And don't forget about the replay at 7 in the morning on Rural Radio 147, Sirius XM.
If you're involved in the agriculture industry, it's important to stay informed on all the latest issues affecting your business. At RealAgriculture.com, we offer fast, reliable news, information, and insights to help you keep on top of all of the latest in Canadian agriculture. Visit RealAgriculture.com and sign up for our free daily newsletter covering everything from news, agronomy, animal agriculture, and much more. Visit RealAgriculture.com/subscribe today.
We continue the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. Let's go to Saskatchewan, where I'm sure winter has most likely set in. We're talking to Jake Leguee, who's in Fillmore, Saskatchewan. How are we doing today, Jake?
I'm doing great, Shaun. How about you?
Pretty good. Well, has winter set in?
No, it's warm and sunny, and I mean, we had a skip of snow last week, but no, she's still pretty nice around here.
Wow, that's good. So does that mean that you're still getting some fall work done around the yard?
We're starting to power out, to be honest. It's been going on long enough now that, we could absolutely keep working until I think we could find 6 more months worth of projects to do. But at the same time, it's been going on long enough. We're starting to feel like, okay, let's get the trucks moving instead and get some grain hauled and do those sorts of things instead of continuing to do more projects out in the field.
Do you and Sarah do all your own trucking?
We do. I wouldn't say certainly not all of it. I mean, it depends on the contract. If it's a farm contract, yeah, I'm happy enough to let somebody else come and get it, especially if it's got to go a ways away. But we got good trucks and lots of people with Class 1 licenses on the farm here. So if it makes sense for us to haul, the trucks aren't making any money sitting in the shed. So
I often hear that a lot of complaints in different provinces about, the Class 1 process and the difficulties there is around that. What's been your experience in trying to hire farm help with the Class 1 license?
Well, I mean, obviously anybody that, is coming through the LMA program, obviously that's a challenge there, but we've got the majority of the people on our farm are either family or from the area and all have Class 1. So that hasn't been a problem for us. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously an asset when you can find somebody that's got it, but we've got enough people that we don't have to have every person have it. And there's opportunities to go and get it too. So
yeah. How have the yields been this year?
We had a good crop. Consistently good. I wouldn't say we broke a bunch of records or anything, but it's not that often that you get really strong lentil and canola yields in the same year. And you get yield and quality out of the cereals. So it was a good crop.
Well, that's good to hear, because there's like, if I was to ask you, what are you most optimistic about right now heading into 2026? What would be on top of your mind?
Oh, that's a good question, because I mean, the commodity price situation isn't great. The input pricing situation isn't great, and the equipment pricing situation hasn't really improved much either. So
I was going to ask you about concerns next. You're skipping ahead, Jake. Okay, we got the concerns, and what you just said are like the top three from our research from Real Agri Studies. So you got that nailed. What are you optimistic about?
Yeah, I'm trying not to be too pessimistic here, but I mean, I guess for our farm, I'm optimistic in the people that we've got, and I'm optimistic in the work that we've done to get ready for next year. We're set up well to get the job done right. But there's nothing we can do about those other things. We can't control commodity prices or equipment prices, and what we can control is just doing the best job we can and hope that things change a little bit for us, which sometimes they do.
Yeah. So so building on that, what would need to change for all of a sudden there to be a whole bunch more positive things in that column?
I mean, unfortunately, when it comes to equipment, fertilizer, pricing situations here, there's not a lot that can really affect things for us in 2026 at this point, right? I mean, those costs are fairly locked in at this point. Grain prices could sure change things, though.
Yeah, and India putting those 30% tariffs on peas, that don't help anything.
No. I mean, peas haven't been a part of our crop plan for the last few years, and they sure aren't going to be. But I mean, even large green lentils, which are an important crop for us, I mean, the pricing on those isn't great either. There's no winner that I can look at in our list of available crops that we can grow in our area and say, oh yeah, that's the one that's going to make some margin. All of them look tight.
Yeah, that's why what I keep on getting asked by some more mainstream shows that want to hear about agriculture. That's the question I get is, are people going to grow canola next year? And I'm always like, yes, they are, because it's not like canola is the one crop. It's got some challenges, but it's not like it's like the terrible one amongst a basket of great situations across all the other crops, right? If we were to pick any of the crops that are mainly grown on the prairies or anywhere really in North America, you can pick out challenges for all of them, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, we've had our challenges over the years with the profitability picture of canola in the South, struggling to get our yields to really change over the past decade while the price of seed has doubled. Having said all that, canola doesn't really look any worse than a lot of the other options that I could plant on my farm for next year. So it's going to be part of the crop rotation, about the same amount of acres that it usually is.
Yeah, I think a lot, and how it yielded this year, we have kind of really short memories, and people are going to remember how well it yielded this past year, I think, and that's also going to keep the acres up a bit, I think. Whereas go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think too, the other thing with canola that has changed it a little bit is that even if I don't like the profitability picture of canola, it's incredibly important for rotation alone. Like, we have some of the best weed control options are in canola these days. We know that we can kill kochia with Liberty, at least for now. So that's a factor. So it's an important, it's a crucial part of the rotation. There's no getting around that.
Any investments to be made? Capital projects or equipment could be a part of this too, or anything investment-wise going on the farm this winter?
We're trying to sit tight as much as we can, but we have been for the past couple of years hoping that equipment prices would start to back off. And we have been looking at some of the bigger items like combines, and I will say it does look a little bit better on the pricing side of things than it has for a couple of years, but there's still lots of money. So at least interest rates are better. and the dealerships are more interested in getting the inventory off the lots. That's what I've seen so far this fall.
I'm looking at a slide right now where I'm giving a bunch of presentations here in the next 2-3 weeks. And when I look at Canadian new machinery sales, I have to admit, it surprises me. Like combine sales year to date, as of the end of September, we're up 4.7%. Like if heading into the year, I would have never guessed that. Now, four-wheel drive tractors are down 7.3 and two-wheel drive tractors are up 2.6, but combines being up 4.7 on new machines, on units sold. That's not dollars. That's units sold. That surprises me.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, when we first got some options on looking at what was out there for combines, I didn't expect that taking a couple of weeks to decide would mean that a lot of the inventory would already be gone.
Wow.
I thought that everybody would be pulling the reins in a little bit, but between combines and land too, I mean, it seems like everybody's still feeling optimistic, I guess.
Yeah. To
be doing what they're doing. So
it's good. It's a positive, right? It's good to see some optimism. I think sometimes people are like, oh, we can't be negative. There's a sign that, there's some positivity out there, although people don't like the prices that are out there. Hey, Jake.
I have generally found that the optimistic approach to farming is the better one in my career.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Jake, I know I'm going to see you through the winter season somewhere, possibly Grow Canada, maybe, but let's definitely grab some time for a stump for a beer, okay?
That sounds great, Shaun. We'll catch up somewhere.
Appreciate it. That's Jake Leguee of Fillmore, Saskatchewan. We've got more coming up here on the Farmer Rapid Fire. We're going to British Columbia next. Brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada.
Infuse some energy into your next corporate event, customer meeting, or conference with RealAg Radio, Canada's national agriculture radio show. Create a unique experience at your next event with host Shaun Haney, broadcasting RealAg Radio live on SiriusXM, featuring exciting guests, captivating interviews, and the latest news from the agriculture community. Contact advertising at realagriculture.com or call 587-787-1795 to book your on location with RealAg Radio today.
Peter Johnson at WheatPete.RealAgriculture.com. I'm the host of The Word, and I love doing The Word. I love the questions. I love the challenges. I love having to apply agronomics to all over the globe and areas outside of my normal jurisdiction. Also, I love the feedback the most, where growers challenge me, tell me about their plot results, help me to learn. The Word, absolutely the best part of my day.
We now take the Farmer Rapid Fire into Kelowna, British Columbia. We're talking to Sukpahl Bal. How are we doing today, Sukpahl?
Good, Shaun. How are you?
Pretty good. So what does a cherry farmer do in the middle of November?
Well, this time of year, we're with the BC Cherry Association, we're more of a chance to meet, already planning for next year. So like a lot of the farmers well, there's not really an off season. There's always work going on, but This is the slower time. So a lot of meetings, that type of thing. We're past our busy time, but the biggest task right now is pruning the trees. So for cherries, they grow quite aggressively, and you got to be pruning every fall through the winter and into the spring.
And what are the big issues that would be, like, I have to think, like trade? Is that one of the number one ones, or what's top of the agenda?
Yeah, trade is up there. Labor is always high up there with the reliance on all of our cherries need to be handpicked off the tree. So we bring in a lot of labor. And then the climate, we did have more than a full crop, a record crop. But as your listeners are well aware, this extreme climate had been hitting us for several seasons. So yeah, it's you're always going to have problems in farming. You just got to find out what the problem ends up being. Is kind of how we look at things now.
It was the January freeze of, was it 2023?
Yeah, it was no 24.
24. Okay.
23 did have a freeze as well, but 24 in January of 24, that was the big freeze event that not only impacted cherries but wine grapes as well in this region were hit hard as well. So we went from personally on my farm, we didn't do a harvest. There was a few cherries sprinkled throughout the orchard here or there, but nothing economical to pick. So we didn't even do a harvest or anything. And then this time around, it was again a mild winter, but we escaped any extreme drops. So with the trees resting one full year in 24, all that energy went to bud development, and we had a huge bloom and a big crop that set. So a big crop also brings us challenges with oversupply, prices, downward pressure on pricing too. So that gets to be a challenge when it's a really heavy crop.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about the pricing with that large crop, what the impact was on pricing. I guess, will 2025 be looked upon as a positive financial year for a lot of cherry growers?
It's I definitely better than what the season was before. I know that for sure, but yeah, it's when you get into those heavy crops and then competing with regions that are much bigger than us just across the line in Washington State. That also puts a lot of downward pressure on the pricing, because they are shipping into our market, and then we get up against retailers saying, well, hey, we're getting it from this price. You'll have to come down on your price. So there's definitely still challenges. Cost of production is not only with us, but some stats are showing that BC is one of the most expensive places to do farming in Canada. We've got very high costs. So that's something that is also reduces what comes back into the pocket at the end of the day.
Yeah, like you said, you got the state of Washington and Oregon right there below you. They're in the same game, right?
Yeah, they are, and that's where the BC cherries we've really aggressively gone after other markets, China, South Korea, Japan. Currently working on getting a access deal for Mexico as well, and then looking to potentially work on accessing into Brazil as well as another market that we've identified. So there's not another big market like South Korea out there, but we're trying to keep our options open. And thankfully we have been doing that for many years, where a lot of our colleagues in different industries have just been focusing on the U.S. because it's such a big market for shipping cherries there, which we do as well. So that was good that we're quite diversified in our markets, so we can ship to other countries.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people see like the fruit stands, right? Like BC fruit. And I think a lot of people jump to the conclusion that like there is a lot that is sold domestically through that kind of sales mechanism, but the fruit business is very global. And I was reminded of this when, just a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed John Anderson, CEO of Oppie, and he was being inducted into the Canadian Agricultural Hall of Fame, and just talked about some of the movement of fruit product around the world and how quickly it has to happen because it's a perishable good. Bruising is like, that's a major issue. Like, a lot of stuff can go wrong if not taken care of. It's a global business.
Yeah, and definitely not an easy task. Imagine we're harvesting the early morning, 4 a.m. We're constantly bringing the fruit to the packing house. Either a few hours later or in the afternoon, that fruit is being run over the line into the boxes, palletized. Potentially even later that day, a truck, stops at many packing houses, loads up and heads down to the Vancouver International, and off it goes. Yeah, it's a very, very fast pace, but the quality they're expecting over there with the paying a higher price for that fruit, right, is getting to be a very high bar to pass, and that you have to make sure the quality matches what the price is.
So what needs to change in British Columbia to bring some of those costs down? Is it tax issues? Is it regulatory issues? What's raising the cost? Labor?
Yeah, labor and we get it from the point of, there's the cost of living keeps on rising. People need a living wage. So what I've been proposing is that I think the government's got to look at some type of way to rebate some funds in the name of food security to farms, to make sure that we're not under this immense stress. Clawing back the wages is not something that we're even thinking of, because we know that it's expensive for these workers and those that are in agriculture. But we just need to see a bigger acknowledgement of how ag is vital. But the sense seems to be that for many years, ag has always been around. Farmers are doing their thing, and we're looking at other industries, high tech, what have you. But I think we're just forgetting about the basics and where investments need to be made, because we're at a stage where the volatility in our agriculture is so high that we are going to see people leaving because they just can't cope with it anymore. Emotionally, physically, and then financially as well, right? So on all fronts. So it's we BC Ag Council that I sit as a director. We just had our Ag Lobby Day in Victoria. And we were bringing up some key points of, treating ag as an essential service. Like, think of it as we were the frontline workers when we went through COVID, et cetera, and how that was so vital that we had the proper equipment and people to look after the public. We need to be treating agriculture in that same way, that these are the people that feed us. And when times get tough, other countries aren't sending food. We have to rely on our own farmers. So they've got to be there to produce the food, right? It's not, you can't just snap of fingers and activate a whole bunch of farming. That takes, generations of knowledge and hard work. So that's kind of what I'm feeling, is that we need to really go back to the basics and invest in what the key priorities are.
I appreciate the perspective. Sukpahl, thanks so much for joining us here on the Farmer Rapid Fire. Really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Shaun.
We've got more coming up here on the Farmer Rapid Fire, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada, right after this quick break. Built on over 100 years of seed innovation and unwavering commitment to farmers, Pioneer 100 Series canola hybrids deliver a step change in yield performance and agronomic traits. This isn't just better canola, it's different canola. Pioneer 100 Series. Contact your local Pioneer sales representative or visit pioneer.com/100 series to learn more today.
I'm Lindsay Smith, host of The Agronomist, and I want to thank you for tuning in for over 200 episodes of our beloved little program. Join me Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube for our live and interactive agronomy Q&A. Each week, our guest panel will handle some of your toughest agronomic questions live, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and RealAgriculture.com. Tune in Monday nights or go to RealAgriculture.com/agronomist and sign up for our email notifications, and don't miss an episode.
And welcome back to RealAg Radio, brought to you by Pioneer Seeds Canada. And speaking of Pioneer Seeds Canada, let's talk to the area agronomist for Western Manitoba, is Derwyn Hammond. How are we doing today, Derwyn?
I'm doing great. Thanks a lot. Happy to be able to speak with you today.
Yeah, great for you to join a super busy time, I know, this time of the year for people in your role. I guess give us in your area around Brandon, Manitoba, how would we describe this year? Successful year?
Overall, had some really strong yields in all of the crops we work with. We're mainly corn, beans, and canola. But certainly some variability out there, and a very different season from what we had in 2024. 2024, we were really cold and wet through June, almost into July, and then got warmer and drier in an open fall. So kind of favored those long season products and the long season crops.
Yeah.
This year, dry June, and then got wetter as the year progressed in some areas. And then for the first time in a few years, a touch of frost in some areas in that first week of September. So stung the corn and, those top pods on some of the longer season soybean varieties as well. So, just seeing some differences in terms of results coming off this year versus last year, and so just we're at the time of year trying to put this year's results in context and make some decisions about what to do next year.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because this is that time of the year where we're looking at our own yield results. We're looking at plot data. We're thinking about the year ahead, 2026, and all that comes together, and we got to make some decisions on what we're going to grow from a hybrid selection standpoint, really across the, corn, soybeans, and canola. I really think it's the same sort of process. Yeah. So what are some things to look out for, keep in mind as we walk through this time period?
Well, I've always been a big fan of more data, more data points. If you got to go to a wider geography, that pulling in more different scenarios in terms of the environment, or, year over year, multi-year summaries to try and give you a better average trend in terms of that relative performance. It just brings in some of those variations. But if you're focusing in more on your local results, then it's really important to put those results in the context of, what was the season that led to those results? What are maybe some unique things you saw this year that aren't consistent with maybe what you've seen for the last 2 or 3 years? So a good example of that this year for us on the soybean front, lots of comments from folks that have been working with soybeans longer than the 13 years I've been with Pioneer. One of the worst white mold seasons for soybeans here in Manitoba. So, that 1 point difference on the rating scale made a difference this year in terms of that yield performance in some cases. So our 004 enlist bean, it's been popular, but it's a bushier bean. It covers the ground early, maybe a little better microenvironment for that white mold. So saw some local areas where, that held back the yield potential a bit. Yeah. But versus our 003, it's a bushel ahead this year versus a 2.6 if you look at the 2-year average. And that's the 2-year average including this year's results, right? So it changes things, quite a bit in some cases. So it's just really important to have that context around where that yield result come from.
Absolutely. Like, do we always get the cool July like we had this year in parts of the prairies? No. I wish we did, because it really was a key component of really pushing that canola yield to where it ended up with some of the moisture that also transpired. And I guess it's as you're going through that plot data, thinking about your conditions at your farm, your soil type, potential growing conditions for the year. You got to put all that together and not try to solve last year's problems and next year's crops.
Yeah, and I often think about, trying to pick that one best varieties, like trying to pick that hot stock in the stock market. If it happens to hit, it's fantastic. But if it goes the other way, it can be bad. So having a multi-variety, multi-product approach especially if you've got larger acres on your farm of a particular crop, is a great strategy. And then, I mentioned the 004, it's been a strong yielder for us. So maybe you look at management strategy. Do I look at a fungicide and try to solidify that yield performance of that better yielding product versus swapping out to another variety that I don't have that history on? And then again, right, if you chose a longer season corn product, got stung with frost, and you got light test weight and lower yields because of that, then, maybe I don't want to be all in on that longer season product, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to abandon it completely, right? You can shift some acres to maybe something a little earlier if you're concerned about that risk, and go with more of a multi-hybrid approach.
Yeah, great thoughts. Hey, Derwyn, thanks so much for joining us here for the Farmer Rapid Fire. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you some point along the winter meeting season.
You bet. We'll see you out on tour.
That was Derwyn Hammond of Pioneer Seeds Canada. Really appreciate him joining us here today on the show. Hey, we want your feedback. If you have any thoughts, maybe you've got some perspectives on things that you heard today on the show, or maybe something else, we'd love to hear from you. Send me an email, shaney at realagriculture.com, or you can call or text the Real Ag feedback line 855-776-6147. When you are planning for canola hybrids for the 2025 growing season, I really want you to consider Pioneer 100 series canola. Okay? You got to do this. It's Pioneer's 100th anniversary, the highest yielding Pioneer brand canola hybrids ever. This isn't just better canola, it is different canola. Contact your local Pioneer sales representative or visit pioneer.com/100 series to learn more. And a big shout out to Pioneer Seeds Canada for being the exclusive sponsor of the Farmer Rapid Fire. Okay, thanks everybody for getting real and getting connected with Real Ag Radio. Chat again tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.